Two young people lost in the world of pills.
Barney, you know what I think?
A History of the United States of America by Barney Fife.
Well, remember how we used to paste our own names over the authors?
Oh, yeah.
For decades, Don Knotts' panic-stricken facial expressions and clumsy demeanor brought laughter to millions of viewers.
I'm an entertainer. Please, I've only got 5 seconds. Can you please get through? Can you? Good evening.
But behind that iconic smile lay a dark secret that he took to his grave forever. He used his deepest pain as a mask to redeem his life. Exactly 2 decades after he drew his final breath, his biological daughter officially spoke up to confirm the entire shocking truth behind the spotlight. What horrific secret had been buried for all those years? Uncover it with us right below. As the late 1990s arrived, the stage spotlight gradually closed, which was also when Don Knotts had to face his harshest health challenges. He began to notice an unusually severe decline in his vision. Medical experts diagnosed him with macular degeneration, an age-related condition that robbed the comedy legend of his sight. It did not stop there, as chest pain and continuous shortness of breath appeared, signaling a flurry of medical crises. Amidst those years exhausted by illness, love became his sole spiritual anchor. In 2002, at the age of 78, Don Knotts officially remarried for the 3rd time to actress Frances Yarborough, who was many years younger than him. Frances Yarborough stayed side by side in devotion, caring for him, managing his life, and bringing peace to the actor during his most turbulent period. Later, she was also the legal heir to his entire multi-million-dollar fortune. Tragedy struck again when doctors discovered Don Knotts had late-stage lung cancer, along with dangerous respiratory complications. The combination of macular degeneration and cancer pushed the veteran artist's health into extreme exhaustion. In early 2006, his condition worsened rapidly, requiring emergency hospitalization. At Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, the comedy legend's final days took place under the 24/7 vigil of his family and loved ones. In those critical life-or-death moments, his soulmate friend of half a century, Andy Griffith, set aside all schedules to be at his bedside. Andy constantly held Don's hand tightly, whispering words of encouragement and affirming the immortal friendship between them. Andy Griffith's presence at the hospital proved a friendship that transcended all Hollywood glamour. Andy's firm handshakes and sincere whispers were an invaluable source of comfort, helping Don Knotts stand firm through painful moments. His daughter, Karen Knotts, later shared a deeply moving detail about her father's final days. Even as his body was being ravaged by cancer pain, Don never stopped performing comedy and making jokes with the medical staff. Even though his breath had grown weak, he still used his inherent wit to make nurses and loved ones smile. Performing comedy at this point was no longer a performance art, but his only weapon to confront the fear of death. On February 24, 2006, Don Knotts officially drew his last breath at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, living to the age of 81. His passing left infinite grief for colleagues and millions of fans around the world. After his death, a series of rumors about his real life behind the spotlight began to spread. The public always questioned whether his famous panicked expression stemmed from real-life personal tragedies. Exactly 20 years after his death, Don Knotts' family officially broke their silence. Through the memoir, Tied Up in Knots, My Dad and Me, and numerous press interviews, Karen Knotts confirmed the entire truth about her father. Karen confirmed that Don Knotts was not merely playing an anxious character on screen. All his life, he struggled with deep psychological wounds from a childhood abused and traumatized by a schizophrenic father. She spoke directly to the media. "My father fought depression and self-doubt his whole life, but he never stopped trying to bring joy to others. The late confirmation after 2 decades illuminated the entire life of a comedic genius. The bursts of laughter he brought to audiences were not accidental, but the crystallization of a resilient process of transforming pain into art. Karen Knotts further shared, "Many people only saw a funny Barney Fife, but behind that was a humble father who always strived to overcome his own darkness to live fully with love." The confirmations from his family after 2 decades not only stripped away the glamorous mask on screen, but also opened up the wall hiding Don Knotts' storm-filled private life. Far away from the stage lights and audience applause, the actor had to face loneliness alongside prolonged mental crises where depression quietly gnawed away at his personal relationships. The Artist's Curtain. When The Andy Griffith Show officially aired in 1960, the character Barney Fife immediately created a sensation thanks to his clumsy demeanor, panicked eyes, and constantly trembling hands. Audiences across America at that time believed that this was entirely the pinnacle of Don Knotts' acting technique. In reality, the truth behind those humorous expressions was a bitter medical reality. Decades later, the actor's family officially confirmed that his panicked performance style on screen was an accurate reflection of the mental disorders he suffered. In real life, Don Knotts struggled persistently with generalized anxiety disorder and hypochondria. Along with that, chronic insomnia ravaged his physical condition, causing him to frequently fall into a state of both physical and mental exhaustion after every hour of filming. Beneath prestigious television awards, the actor's mind was constantly haunted by an ultimate fear. He always lived in the nightmare that one day he would develop schizophrenia and sink into madness just like his father. To maintain his work and remain sane, Don Knotts had to quietly pursue intensive psychiatric therapy sessions. Starting in the 1950s, he regularly sought psychoanalysts to find mental balance hidden away from the public. Contrary to the usual pattern, rapid fame and the Hollywood spotlight brought no peace of mind. The more Emmy statues he harvested, the heavier the pressure to maintain his performance, and his self-doubt weighed on him, pushing him into countless crises. The psychological shadow not only ravaged his personal health, but also directly suffocated the actor's married life. In 1947, while still a college student, Don Knotts married Catherine Metz, the gentle daughter of a local pastor. Their youthful romance passed peacefully, and they welcomed 2 children in turn, Karen Knotts and Thomas Knotts. But as Don's career took off in the early 1960s, cracks in their small home began to appear and grew increasingly severe. Workaholism, along with sudden outbursts of depression, caused Don's mood to fluctuate unpredictably. That volatility made the family atmosphere oppressive, leaving his wife Catherine gradually falling into exhaustion and helplessness before her husband's psychological wall. After 17 years together, sharing many ups and downs from hardships to glory, his first marriage officially collapsed. In 1964, the two decided to sign divorce papers, ending a long journey to the regret of family and friends. The 1970s opened with the comedic artist's efforts to rebuild his life. In 1974, Don Knotts decided to take another step by marrying his second wife, Laura Lee Chuchna, hoping to find a peaceful home after so much pain. Even so, acute mental breakdowns relentlessly returned to haunt him. Prolonged periods of depression caused the new marital relationship to repeatedly fall into extreme tension, plunging the second marriage into a spiral of deep fractures, leading to divorce in 1983. Not only painful in his personal life, Don Knotts' career also underwent harsh turning points. A hasty decision made him leave his beloved Mayberry home, pushing him into a risk-filled adventure in Hollywood. career whirlwind. In 1965, Don Knotts' television career faced an unexpected historical turning point. Initially, his colleague Andy Griffith firmly asserted that The Andy Griffith Show would officially end after exactly 5 seasons. Trusting implicitly in Andy's statement, Don Knotts proactively sought a new direction to preserve his career. He decided to sign a long-term contract to produce 5 feature films with the prestigious studio Universal Pictures. But as the 5th season was coming to an end, Andy Griffith suddenly changed his mind and decided to continue producing the show. By this time, Don Knotts was already bound by the legal restrictions of the film contract he had just signed. Unable to cancel the agreement with Universal, Don Knotts regretfully said goodbye to The Andy Griffith Show. His departure left a vast, irreplaceable void in the town of Mayberry. Stepping into the world of Hollywood cinema, he expected to make new breakthroughs in his career. The 1964 film The Incredible Mr. Limpet, along with subsequent works, officially marked his independent filmmaking journey. In 1966, he starred in the comedy film The Ghost and Mr. Chicken, followed by The Reluctant Astronaut. Even though they were later ranked among comedy classics, the box office revenue at that time failed to meet brilliant expectations. By 1970, he made an effort to salvage his television stature with his own program titled The Don Knotts Show. Still, record-low viewership ratings led the network to quickly decide to cancel the show. Mounting failures at the box office and on television dealt another heavy blow to his already fragile confidence. Looking back on this period, Don once regretfully admitted, "I left because I believed the show was ending, and that was the most bitter mistake of my life." After nearly a decade of struggling to regain his footing, an artistic rebirth opportunity suddenly appeared. In 1979, Don Knotts officially joined the cast of the hit television show Three's Company. He brilliantly portrayed landlord Ralph Furley, an overly confident but perpetually clumsy man. This character immediately made a strong impression thanks to a fashion sense featuring colorful shirts and stylish outerwear. Utilizing his genius physical comedy talent, influenced by the legend Buster Keaton, he transformed every small gesture into comedic bits. His presence breathed a completely new life into the show. Running parallel to his career ups and downs, the relationship between Don Knotts and Andy Griffith maintained a tight bond, even though there were periods of subtle competition and diverging paths on their artistic journeys. Deep understanding helped the two legends maintain a soulmate friendship lasting half a century. Andy Griffith once shared in a press interview, "Don was not just a genius colleague, he was the blood brother of my life." Entering the 1990s, as they advanced in age, they still kept in frequent touch and became each other's greatest spiritual support. This immortal friendship was the anchor that helped Don overcome doubts about his self-worth. But the extraordinary resilience that helped Don Knotts rise after every bitter fall in Hollywood did not come naturally. That strength was forged from his darkest days when he was just a child, cowering in a kitchen corner to escape his father's violent frenzy. Tracing back in time to the past, the picture of a childhood filled with darkness is the ultimate key to fully unlocking the persona of this comedy legend. Childhood nightmares. On July 21, 1924, Jesse Donald Knotts was born in the impoverished town of Morgantown, West Virginia. His birth was completely unplanned for the family, as his mother, Elsie Knotts, had already reached the age of 40. Don Knotts was the youngest child in the family, separated from his next older brother by 14 years. The devastated economic conditions of the Depression era forced young Don to face endless hardship and poverty from his earliest days. That living environment became even more suffocating due to his father, Jesse Knotts Sr., a heavy alcoholic suffering from schizophrenia. In addition, he suffered from hysterical blindness, which made his temper extraordinarily furious and volatile. The small kitchen became the scene of persistent nightmares for the scrawny child. Every time he wanted to step out of the kitchen, Don had to tiptoe past the sofa where his addicted father lay, enduring psychological threats and terror. Not until Don turned 30 did his mother dare reveal a terrifying truth hidden for many years. When Don was still a toddler, his father, during a fit of insanity, had held a butcher knife to his neck and threatened to murder him. Recalling that terrifying period, his daughter Karen Knotts later emotionally confirmed to the media, "My father grew up in ultimate fear right inside his own home, where his father could go crazy at any moment." The constant psychological terror caused Don to grow up stunted, pale, and frequently ill. The frail boy had almost no truly peaceful day under the roof of his own family home. Beyond his father, Don't pain also stemmed from his two older brothers, William Earl, nicknamed Shadow, and Sid. Both were also heavy alcoholics who continuously unleashed rages, subjecting their youngest brother to physical and emotional bullying. Tragedy continued to engulf the family when his brother, Shadow, died suddenly following a violent asthma attack. The loss of his brother while Don was still a teenager left additional deep, unhealable psychological wounds. To cope with the brutal reality and protect his mind from trauma, Don created his own imaginary world. He found salvation through ventriloquism and befriended a wooden dummy named Danny. The dummy Danny became his only close friend, a companion to whom Don poured out his heart and began practicing comedy skits. These self-created stories helped him temporarily forget the screams and lurking fear in the house. A major turning point occurred in 1937 when Don had just turned 13 years old. His father, Jesse Knotts Sr., drew his last breath after years of illness, officially ending a prolonged period of psychological terror for the entire family. Without the threat from his father, the family atmosphere gradually settled, and Don Knotts finally had the opportunity to step into the light. Upon entering Morgantown High School, the once timid teenager underwent a spectacular transformation. Don actively participated in school activities, was triumphantly elected class president, and took charge of writing a column for the school newspaper. For the first time in his life, he found true friends and a passionate love for the stage. Sharing about her father's resilience during this period, Karen Knotts affirmed, "It was those dark years that forged an astonishing strength, helping him transform pain into artistic creative energy." Stepping out from the ashes of a broken childhood, Don Knotts entered the military, carrying a deep desire for recognition. And right from the fierce battlefield, a new artistic flame truly erupted, bringing him to a fateful meeting that changed television history. The historic handshake. In 1943, in the midst of World War II, entering a fierce stage, Don Knotts, who was then a student at West Virginia University, decided to set aside his books to join the U.S. Army. Thanks to his innate artistic talent, he was assigned to the Special Services Entertainment Detachment, joining a performing troupe named Stars and Gripes to serve soldiers in the Pacific Theater. During arduous tours across the islands, Don realized that military audiences responded enthusiastically to direct spoken comedy bits rather than performances with the wooden dummy, Danny. Realizing that the dummy was becoming a barrier preventing him from connecting directly with the public, Don Knotts made a bold, career-defining decision. He decisively threw the dummy Danny into the vast ocean, officially closing his journey as a ventriloquist to focus on becoming a professional stand-up comedian. After being discharged in 1948, Don returned to school to complete his bachelor's degree, then quickly packed his bags and headed to New York City with little savings and a determination to build a career. The initial stretch in the American entertainment hub was full of challenges, but perseverance helped him earn his debut television role in the series Search for Tomorrow. His name began attracting attention on national television when he joined Steve Allen's entertainment show, brilliantly portraying the nervous man character with signature anxious expressions. The year 1955 marked a historical milestone when Don Knotts joined the Broadway play No Time for Sergeants. Here he met the talented actor Andy Griffith for the first time. The natural chemistry and similar artistic energy between the two immediately exploded on the theatrical stage, laying a solid foundation for a soulmate friendship lasting for decades. In early 1960, upon hearing news that Andy Griffith was preparing to film a pilot episode about a peaceful small town named Mayberry, Don Knotts immediately took the initiative to pick up the phone and reach out. He candidly asked a short question that changed television history. "Do you need a deputy?" Warmly welcomed by Andy, the character of Deputy Barney Fife was officially born. An officer who was perpetually clumsy and overly confident, but inside contained deep anxiety and sincerity. The image of Barney Fife, allowed to keep only a single bullet in his shirt pocket, became an immortal comedic icon, capturing the hearts of millions of American television viewers. Broadcasting continuously from 1960 to 1965, The Andy Griffith Show catapulted Don Knotts into one of the leading comedy stars of television's golden era. His extraordinary acting skills and genius physical versatility helped him create a historic breakthrough, sweeping 5 prestigious Emmy Awards in a row for Best Supporting Actor. Brilliant success at Mayberry helped Don Knotts not only escape the ghost of past poverty, but also affirm an irreplaceable peak stature in the hearts of the American art-loving public. The 81-year life journey of Don Knotts is a touching testament to the miraculous power of laughter. Behind the hilarious roles that brought joy to countless homes was a resilient heart, tirelessly overcoming every storm and quiet pain. If you found this video good and meaningful, please hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notification bells so you don't miss the next authentic and touching Hollywood behind-the-scenes stories.